Okay, here we go. We're tying the soft hackle Detonator. It's a great caddis or even sulfur imitation. I've started my thread and love soft hackle flies. The first thing we're going to do is tie on this feather, and you'll notice that the feather has sort of a cup to it. You can see that a little bit there. We're going to tie it with a cup side facing you, and as opposed to normal flies, we're going to tie it facing out the front of the hook here. So I'll take a couple of loose wraps there. I've cleaned off the stem, and I'm going to wrap backwards on this and just bind the stem down. And then we're just going to come in and clip off the excess there. There we go. And just leave that, and you'll notice that I've left a gap right there between the hook eye and where I've tied it in. Right, if you can see that, right there, there's a gap, enough so we can tie it off, wrap it forward and tie a nice little head off. Okay, we're going to advance the thread all the way to the back. Basically, so we're hanging down right about the hook point, right there is where you want the thread to be. And then the body of this fly is this. It's turkey biot, okay? And it's these long feathers here on the turkey. I'm using a sulfur color here. These are sold by Montana Fly. So I'm going to cut a couple of these right off the hank there. You can use one or two, doesn't really matter. And so I've got this, and I'm going to tie that biot in by the tip, right here at the back. And don't be afraid to tie it in generously. You're not going to use the whole thing anyway. And then I'll tie it and I'll just wrap upwards, and then we're going to get up to the sort of near the front of the fly, and you can see where the thread is hanging. Don't wrap all the way forward to the hackle. The reason for that is we're going to put an Antron collar in there in a minute, so you want to leave a little bit of room. Now, on the original fly, what I used to do was just wrap this hackle forward. We're not going to do that. We've modified the fly somewhat because we found that every time you fish the fly, as soon as a fish ate it, he'd bust that hackle with his teeth, and your fly would be ruined. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking some Zap-A-Gap, and you want to probably use the gel for this. I think it's going to work better for you. We're going to put just a little touch, just a tiny drop on there. Okay, that's all you need. Don't go crazy with this. And then when I wrap this hackle forward, this stem forward, we're going to get it to lay down there. So here we go. If you got a rotary, it works great for this. In this case, I'm tying on a Regal. I don't have one with me. And we're just going to lay this sucker right down. Try to overlap each wrap just slightly. And what these turkey biots do is they have a real interesting segmentation to them, which is, I think, one of the reasons why this pattern is so darn effective. As you wrap forward, you're going to see a little rib standing up off the biot, and that's awesome. And you can wrap pretty far up there, it doesn't really matter. Once you get it up there, we're going to come behind the feather there, and we're going to tie off. 1, 2, 3 wraps. Pull back and cut off. Okay, so there's our body. This is a real simple fly to tie. I highly suggest that you get yourself a full partridge skin, not just little feathers, because you're going to want to tie this in different sizes, and that full skin will give you a range. So I'm just dubbing some Antron yarn. This is the Orvis Spectra Blend Antron dubbing. I like this variety pack. It just gives me a lot of different colors that I can use, and in this case I'm using the burnt orange right there on the end. You can use a black color too. I've seen a bunch of sulfurs that look like that. Alright, we're just going to dub a little collar. It doesn't matter if it's a little messy, and then get the thread right to the front of that collar. And then finally, our last step is we're going to put our hackle pliers onto the soft hackle here, right at the tip of where that middle stem is. And then I'm just going to take it, and I'm actually wrapping back to the thread. So I'm wrapping toward the rear of the hook, alright? And then you're going to take your thread and come in front of the feather, and you're going to take your thread and just kind of wiggle it and wrap it through the hackle till you get to the eye of the hook. It sounds kind of messy, but it actually works. And then I'm going to twist, rather than getting in there, I'm going to try to twist my hackle off. So there, I got it off. And then I'm going to take my fingers. I like to try to push everything back, kind of get it to lay down back, and then I get a nice clean head there. And I'm going to, take about 4 or 5 wraps right there. And there you go. Starting to look good there. And then we got back in focus now. And then the last thing I do, of course, is I am going to throw, you can throw half hitches. I prefer just to put a whip finish. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Just throw a whip finish on there. Clip it up close, try not to hit the legs. And there you go, soft hackle detonator. And that sucker will catch fish. It's great to fish this fly on the swing, fish it straight across and downstream, however you want to do it. But it only takes 3 materials, and it's deadly, and you can tie it in just about any color you want. It's a great blue-wing olive if you tie it with a green body and a dun hackle up here. Just really good looking fly. Alright, that's it. Go fishing.